What's up? It's VJP in the house. Okay, I want to continue on the Hakuin inspirations. I spoke to my friend a couple of days ago. We went to one of his house and picked him up. It was late, maybe about 11 or something like that. So we just went driving around and stuff till like maybe 1 or 2 in the morning or something, like just talking. So he kind of gave me the rundown on what's going on with his health, and after the tests and everything, the doctors are coming back and they're saying pretty much that he has cancer in his throat, and they don't know what kind it is, exactly what stage it's in or whatever, you know. So I was like, when I heard that, I was like, wow, it's like really sad. And still his Japanese father, I call him Japanese family, but I'll just call him Japanese father. A Japanese family, I guess you could call him father, grandfather, because he is 60, gets old enough to be his grandfather. And you know, he told my friend, he said, don't worry about anything, you know, I'm gonna help you take care of the bills and everything, you know. So, you know, getting some medicine and stuff to take, vitamins and things, because we were talking on the phone the other day, and he said pretty much the things that kill people, you know, like in the AIDS and stuff, is, he said something like, it's not necessarily the AIDS disease, but the other illnesses they catch because of the destruction of their immune system and stuff like that. So I was, you know, so we just, you know, I told him just go check, because there are some people saying that there are a lot of natural medicines for cancer. One is fruit. So I was talking to my wife the other day, and she was telling me how this one lady she know had it, and she went to the doctor, you know, went and talked to different doctors, and basically one doctor told her, you know, get some vegetables and fruit, go out and hang them outside and let them dry, you know, so it can, you know, I guess concentrate the vitamins or whatever is in there, you know, and eat that and chop it up, you know, small piece, whatever, and then eat it or drink it or mix it up, whatever. And then my wife says she's been doing it, and now that she's going to the hospital, her cancer cells are getting smaller and smaller. And I've read a lot of different things too, pretty much. Basically it says, you know, if you keep more oxygen or alkaline in those areas, that they pretty much stop these cells from multiplying, and so they'll die off and stuff like that. So right now I'm going over to visit him, and I bringing some H2O2, you know, and I'm gonna drink some of that to see what happens, you know, by the time he gets to his next appointment and stuff. And I don't know, it's really sad, because he's only 26, you know what I'm saying, and all of the things that he had to go through out here. And he was saying how I think his grandmother was telling him maybe to come back or something like that, and he said no, and you know, because it's better out here. But in all reality, yes, it's better for him to stay here, because he has insurance, he has people here who can pick him up and take him to the different places where he needs to go. And no, and plus out here, like if he needs to go to the hospital emergency, ambulance in Japan is free, you know. So it's you know, so he does have it better here as far as his taking care of his medical issues and things like that. Because in the States, he was telling me how, you know, just to get into an ambulance is $800 or something like that, and if somebody else gets in it also, it's the same price. And it's interesting. It almost seems like, you know, you're getting penalized for for not taking care of yourself, pretty much. I guess that's not penalized, but you just got to pay for it, you guess, you know. So if you don't want to have high medical bills, I guess you just got to eat right. But yeah, it was really interesting and stuff. And then he was telling me how once his uncle called him once he found out he was sick, because the second video that I had made, he sent it to his aunt. He said his aunt watched it, and she started crying and sent it out to everyone else. And then his uncle called him, the one that deserted him, and was like, hey, I heard you sick or something like that, and something like he'll give him some money or something like that, and something like, what was it? Asked him if he needed a refrigerator or something like that. When he told me that, both of us started laughing. We were like, wow. And then my friend, he was like, it's kind of weird. You're going to, I'm here dying, and you're talking about, and he's talking about a refrigerator. And I'm like, yeah, and plus it doesn't even matter because the refrigerator they were sent from the States wouldn't even work in Japan because of the plugs are different, and his apartment's not that big, so he would need a small one. So it was just a funny story that he told me and things like that. But basically, I told him if I was him, I wouldn't use the money, but actually, he does need some sour sop because I read something about sour sop. It's really good. So I was, telling him he should get in touch with someone, and see if they'll send him some. But I guess I'm gonna go see him, visit him today, and show him. We do some research on it, and if he wanted, then I guess we'll just order it from here. I guess I think it'll come easier or something like that. But it's it's interesting, and I don't know. He's been telling me he's been getting weaker and weaker and stuff. I guess because of lack of vitamins or vitamin D or something like that. I don't know what he was saying, because I'm sure he studies it more than I do. So it was really just interesting, to talk. He showed me where he stood posts, and it was a nice area, and he was telling me how the extra presents he's been getting. What else? He said somebody brought him some clothes. One of his students bought him like a couple of shirts, and a lady brought him another sweater. This other lady that someone bought him a sweater, a Star Wars sweater or something like that. And it's just really, it's really sad actually, to be so young and then have to go through all of these problems, and then be a victim of victims who complain about, white racism, and then racism again around the world again, from other countries against black people, and then to come out here and then to be abandoned by,
someone who wants to help, who's promised to help you, and then the very people who you've heard were supposed to be racist or whatever, you got a lot of people or a few people, or however, somewhere in the middle, or several people that's helping, and this guy, it's like if he's the Japanese guy. It's just weird, that he's just, I guess, a blessing that, he's just helping a friend out, because it's something that he doesn't have to do, the time, the money, and that he's spending, and he knows that my friend, pretty much, if it is cancer and if they start doing chemotherapy on him, that his time is pretty much limited and stuff like that. So that's why I hope we try to find some remedies and stuff, because there are some out there and stuff, and we'll do the soursop thing, and hopefully that'll work, because I read somebody who said he read a lot of that, and just went right out of the store and just killed the cells off, or prevented the cells from growing and stuff like that. I've been healed. Since then, he's changed his diet and stuff, so it's interesting. But I don't know. The guy's taking it cool, and
I don't know. It's just because he was like saying how he go to the hospital and they change the dates and doing this and doing that and stuff like that. And I guess it's hectic for him. And then he needs to go this next week to get a what is it called? To get not analysis, but he's going to talk to the doctor, and the doctor's going to explain what his situation is. And so he needs someone to go there with him, but I won't be able to go because I have to start. But what I told him was just, when the doctor's talking, record everything, and then we can get it translated later, or I can listen to it, or get someone else to listen to it and translate it and stuff. But he's funny because he said like when he was at the hospital, the nurses, I guess, were reading this, saw his condition and stuff, and so they were coming to him and saying how sorry they were, and he was getting a lot, and they were hugging him, and I mean it's interesting because he does look like a little kid, and he's short, does look like a kid, so it's like a lot of sympathy. He was like really surprised, he was really happy and moved by that, and so we were talking about sex or something like that, and I was like, wow, it'd be cool if you can, have a woman before you, before you pass, if that's the case. And he was like, yeah, that would be a miracle. And then I said, hey, why don't you ask one of the nurses to, have a baby for you, so you can keep your DNA going. He said, oh, that would be nice if someone would do that. I said, well, ask. I said, you never know, because there are there are actually a lot of women out here who wouldn't mind having a baby, and they don't mind taking care of it by themselves, because when I was in Nagoya, and there are a lot of women out here who just want the baby. They don't want any husbands, because of all the whatever it is. I'm not sure, but the hassles of being married and stuff like that. So he said he'd ask. I don't know if he's serious or not, but it would be a good thing and stuff, but and I think one time he was saying, like when he was teaching someplace, some students passed a note to him, one of the girls, and it wasn't a girl, I'm sorry, a woman, and said she was really interested in stuff. But right now, and that's just when we were talking, and he doesn't really have a lot of time for how can I say that, right now that he's sick and stuff, he's not really thinking about women, but it is, just that topic came up at that one time, it was good, it was funny and stuff like that, but yeah, it's kind of sad, because I don't know who else, any other foreign guys out here who's helping him or assisting him and stuff like that. I don't know, but I don't know, like I said, I just do my best to make things as comfortable for him as I can. I'm not sure. I did tell him he should go make a GoFundMe account, just to see how it'd go and stuff, to help him out. And he was saying, like, if I can do some donations on here. I tried looking up for the donation button, but I couldn't find it on help. But if any of you guys want to, donate or anything, just let me know, and I can give you my PayPal information. You just send it there, and the money that comes in, I just give it to him. And it's just for him to, to buy more food and, just to enjoy and stuff like that. Because, like I said, all of his hospital bills and medicine and everything, all of that is paid for by his Japanese grandfather, Japanese family, and it's just interesting, how the guy is just so cool to him, It's, I don't know. Really, personally, I'm not happy. Okay. But I don't want to, I just don't want to, I just don't want to, what can I say? Wait, I gotta do something.